Alexander the Great, probably one of the most famous people from the ancient world. Let's have a quick recap from the last video on his father and where Alexander fits into the story. Alexander was born in Macedonia in 356 BCE, and when growing up spent a lot of time being raised by his mother Olympia. But by the time he turned 13, he started to be educated by the famous Aristotle. During his father's invasion of Thrace in 340 BCE, he actually defeated some other Thracian peoples, despite being left as the regent of Macedonia while his father was gone, which proved his early adeptness for battle. And at the Battle of Chaeronea, his adeptness for battle was only proved further, as Alexander commanded the left wing and rammed his cavalry through the hole in the enemy lines, encircling them and winning the day. And later, when his father married another much younger wife, Philip, Alexander's father, actually ended up divorcing Alexander's mother Olympias, at which point Alexander left Macedonia with his mother. But soon enough, Alexander made amends with his father. So when we roll around to his father's assassination, Alexander had no trouble becoming the successor, as he was popular among the army for his previous exploits and was the eldest son. So I think it's right about time that Alexander continued with his father's plan of invading the mighty Persian Empire. But actually, just before that, we need to quickly remind some Greek city-states of their place in the League of Corinth. So Alexander marches out and faces the Thebans and their allies, quickly breaching the city walls of Thebes and razing it to the ground, killing 6,000 and enslaving the rest of the population. This got all the Greeks back in line, and now we can finally begin with the invasion of Persia. In 334 BCE, Alexander crossed into Asia Minor and joined his advance force prepared there. About 35,000 troops were commanded by Alexander at this point, with a corps of 5,000 cavalry that would be the backbone of his army. The Battle of Granicus ensued, where three satraps, regional governors of Persia, confronted Alexander. The Macedonian cavalry charged into the Persians, but a Persian countercharge encircled Alexander and some of his cavalry. Alexander was disarmed and was almost killed here, which would have very quickly cut short his conquests, but he was saved in the nick of time. After another cavalry charge, which Alexander was again at the centre of, a hole was pierced in the Persian line, which was soon flooded by the Macedonian phalanx. This caused the Persians to flee, fearing complete annihilation. 5,000 Persians were killed to 400 Macedonians, so this was a massive military success for Alexander, and it established his position in Persian Asia Minor. The entirety of Western Asia Minor soon fell into Alexander's hands, with most cities opening their gates to him, rather than to risk his wrath. Now, Alexander advanced east, along the coastal roads of Anatolia. During this march, the Greek commander of Persia's fleet, Memnon, died, leaving the Persian fleet without its leader, and therefore some of its capability was decreased when trying to harry Alexander on his march. Alexander marched past Ancyra, modern Ankara, and then pushed south to the Cilician Gates. The Persian emperor, Darius, in the meantime, marched his grand army to a position north of where Alexander was encamped in Myrandrus. Alexander heard of this and turned to face Darius, who was drawn up on the Pinarus River. The Battle of Issus ensued. The Persians attempted a flanking maneuver on the Macedonian left flank, which was successful and sent the Macedonian left flank into retreat. Alexander charged across the river with his cavalry, shattering the left flank of the Persian forces. The core of the Persian army was actually made up of Greek mercenaries, who soon found their flank to be a large number of hostile Macedonian war horses charging right at them. The Persian army entered a state of disarray, with one flank pursuing retreating Macedonians, and the rest facing an onslaught, causing Darius, the emperor of Persia, to flee the field, lowering the morale of his troops further. It ended up being a rout for the Persians, and Alexander had yet again won a stunning victory. The family of the Emperor Darius was also captured as part of the bulk of prisoners. And with this, Alexander had basically conquered all of Asia Minor, This was the first phase in his plans to conquer the entire Persian Empire. But Darius was still alive, and the Persian Empire was exceptionally large and exceptionally wealthy. If you enjoyed, please give the video a like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.